Peter,
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Gracious. Thanks for the opportunity and good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to go on a bit of a journey like Ian has, but I want to begin by saying that I come from the corporate world, 25 years in banking after growing up on the Darling Downs, and then ended up in the clergy. And I want to say that I'm very glad that there are two Royal Commissions. I feel very much for the victims in both, but I'm very glad there are two Royal Commissions that are shining a light on suffering and dismay and bad culture that happen both in the church and in banking. And Bob, you began by talking about dismay, the recent dismay of the last 6 or 12 months. Can I say that there were people who were quietly dismaying or not able to say things or didn't say things and should have said things way back when cultures were that we looked past it. And I too, as a young banker in 1981, would go to the pub at lunch and not come back. And now I'm ashamed to say that. So part of my conversation today with you is about, let's be honest about what we've done. Let's be vulnerable and seek information from those around us who can help us. And let's not assume we're going to do it by ourselves. And I could begin wearing a collar. You might think I'm going to talk about the golden rule, and I will for a moment. The golden rule: do unto others as you'd want them to be done to yourself. I mentioned the two Royal Commissions, so let me touch on both, but from my own experience. In banking, there was a time when, as a lender, it was based on fiduciary and good approval ratings and good lending practice. Then I was an approver with a $1 million delegation where salespeople were driving the bus and we lenders had to approve what was given to us, allegedly. The pressure, the cajoling, I've got to get my sales targets that was brought to bear on the person that was supposed to be, as General McLaughlin talked about, risk managing, was legion. So I had to go and have a hard look at myself, get some good mentors, find out that others are also going through the same, finding out that the process is your friend, that the rule of law is saying no on the basis of practical reasons, they can't afford the debt, or the salesperson's gilding the lily and selling them more than what they really want, that the process is my friend. So if I stand here as a traditional cleric from the Darling Downs and say, the rule of law, if you don't have all the information, go and find out what you need to make a good decision. And I found that as a board member and being on ethics committees and finance committees for boards and serving on 2 statutory authorities. If we as a board took what was given to us, like as a lender, what was presented to me in terms of someone's ability to pay back their $1 million corporate loan, and I didn't inform myself, use the process, ask the right questions, I was just part of the conspiracy of what's going on. Good people, and I'm sure there were many good people, stumbling into, I have to do it because of the pressure, I have to do it because someone expects it of me, the KPI demands it of me, but I've not got a frame of reference, whether that's inside or support from the organisation. And so, we're talking about some really meaty topics. Openness, getting advice and reflecting as a leader, or keep doing it, hope you won't get caught, get the other guy because he's a competitor, or get what you can with what you've got from whoever you can get it from until someone notices, and then you can say, oh, I'm surprised, or I might be tried by media. So that's the banking context, the clerical church context. I've only been ordained in the most recent times of the church, and I've had the privilege, deep privilege, of supporting some people who went to the Royal Commission as victims, who trusted me to go with them to tell their story and be heard for almost the first time against a culture, if we're really honest, that actually either didn't know what to do with clerical child abuse, didn't care to do with it, didn't believe that Father X down the road was doing it, let alone we'll just move him on to the next place. So that touches on honesty and not walking past the standard you want to accept. I think General Morrison said, the standard you walk past, as you mentioned before. So it's a meandering conversation today, forgive me for that. But what did I do? I had to make a choice. So when someone says to me, oh, you clerics are all the same, you should all be held to the highest account, I say, absolutely. And everyone that's convicted should be in the deepest, darkest dungeon. There's always room for forgiveness, perhaps, maybe not. But we as an organisation, both in banking where I've come from and the church where I am now, it's about the culture, the practices, the openness and the transparency, because the public will expect no less. And we should do it not only because the public expect it, because it's the right thing to do. And that brings me back to the corporate world in my last minute. the choices we make as leaders, and I only sit on 2 boards now, I've sat on more, on 2 boards, is if we don't know, find out. If we haven't got a frame of reference, go and look for one and a precedence. But actually have a conversation, not just assume what you're given is right, because it could be complete rubbish, and have frames of reference and people around you. I've got some great uncles, great mentors, got 2 bosses sitting to the right of me, I've got a wife at home to the left of me, and the Archbishop, who holds me to account, he's not in this room I don't think, who holds me to account in the church sense. So accountability, openness, and if I don't know, ask someone, because if I make it up, chances are I could be wrong. I could go on, but I'll stop right there.
Thanks, Peter. You talked there a lot about that we're actually operating in a system. The culture, the values of the organisation that we're in, our business, our community, it's a system. It puts pressure on us. So how are we going to be inquiring, open, learning, and actually reflective to understand the decisions we're making? And how can we make sure we're making a positive contribution to the system that we're operating in? Thank you.
Thank you.